All right, it's 4 minutes after, so I will go ahead and call this emergency meeting of the Tennessee Opioid Abatement Council to order. Mary, can we start off with just a roll call to see who all we have from a council perspective?
Yes, sir. Steve Lloyd,
Here.
Armando Fontes,
Here.
Mike Flynn,
Here.
Clay Jackson, Herring Pershing,
Here.
Tommy Farmer,
Here.
Sharm Allen,
Here.
Brian Buck,
Here.
Stephanie Vanterpool,
Here.
Casey Cox, Wayne Wyckoff,
Here.
Tim Fournette,
Here.
Shane Sexton,
Here.
Lisa Tipton, and Ken Moore.
Present.
Before we roll into the
Thanks.
business, just wanted to bring up the emergency meeting necessity statement. Dr. Lloyd, do you want to say something about that?
Yes, I do. I wanted to thank everybody. We have 11 of our 15 members, so we have a quorum, and just for completeness sake, we've got Mary Shelton and Mary. Who else from our staff do we have? So we only have a staff of 3. So I think Ellen and Elizabeth are on here, but I can't see my whole screen.
Yeah, that's true. Ella and Elizabeth are here from the Opioid Abatement Council office, as is Sam Buckley, our servicing attorney. And then also joining us is Deputy Commissioner Heather Gunderson. And then in a couple of minutes, Deputy Commissioner Matt Yancey is going to join us. I spoke with Commissioner Marie Williams just a minute ago, and I don't believe she's going to join us, but I did give her a briefing as to what we're going to be discussing.
Okay, good. So this is an emergency meeting, a necessity statement. The Opioid Abatement Council is holding this virtual. I'm sorry, can you go back?
Yeah, sorry, I
There's
went
the
back.
screen on me. Yeah, it's all right. Is holding the virtual emergency meeting to expedite the planning, the design, and community grant applications process. Next slide. So if y'all remember, we're kind of hung up on a point right now of what to do with our grant application process. We have, just to let you know, we have about $32 million out the door right now. I think all 95 counties, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, with the exception of Stewart County, have received their disbursement from our Opioid Abatement Council. Is that correct, Mary?
That's right. Stewart will be getting paid this week.
Right. And the reason that we had a hold up on Stewart County was we had a little bit of a delay in them signing their paperwork because of them wanting to better understand about the funds. And so that has been taken care of. I attended the National Governors Association meeting last week in DC on a Friday. And Tennessee is one of 4 states currently that have money out the door, but that is the money directly to the counties. And what we're here today is to try to expedite our process of getting our grant application started. As you know, we've had a bit of a delay because we wanted to better understand what our commitment to Smart Simple would be. We had some concerns raised from our council about that by various council members. In the interim, since our last meeting, I think we have all of our questions that were asked the last meeting. Oh, good night. Getting the 35th Amber Alert that I've gotten since I've been in Texas. So hang on. Mary, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I don't know how many Amber Alerts they have here. I can tell you it's about 1 every other day, and I can't get it off my phone, so I can't see my phone now. Hang on, let me get back to it. So outside of attending the NGA and NEC, I've also talked with one of the people who's going to be out here today, Heather Gunderson, as well as Matt Yancey, about the state's process with regards to IT and about their use of Smart Simple. And I'm very satisfied with what I've now talked to several of our counselors as I had time in trying to help my dad and make the phone calls I need to make. And the only person, there's a few few people on the line that did not get it. But today our agenda hopefully will be pretty straightforward. We want an overview of STS in the Tennessee Department, which is the Tennessee Department that manages Smart Simple. And then we'll hear from one of the people that I talked to, Deputy Commissioner Heather Gunderson. We also want an overview of Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse contracting and grant process, and Matt Yancey is going to go over that. And then review and discussion of the Smart Simple platform, and then hopefully we can move forward with that today if all goes well. So, Mary, you want to take us from here?
I sure will. Thank you, Dr. Lloyd. So first up that's going to speak with us is Deputy Commissioner Heather Gunderson. She is the Deputy Commissioner of Administrative and Regulatory Services, and she serves with the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. But the information that she brings to us and that I think will be most helpful is that she used to work for STS. She worked for the Strategic Technology Solutions, which is a division within Finance and Administration that oversees the Smart Simple application. So, Heather, may I turn it over to you?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And I'll try to keep this brief to make sure I have plenty of time to answer any questions from the council. But in my role as the Deputy Commissioner for Administrative and Regulatory Services, I'm here to support Mary in her job and making sure that she supports the Opioid Abatement Council. And so, the example of the county payments that have already gone out, we have a team that's been meeting for a couple, 3 months, I guess, Mary, to get that done. They use technology that we have in house for that as well. And so I'm trying to make sure that all those administrative things come together. So when Mary talked about needing an application management software, we did a scan of what's available in our environment. And the Smart Simple system is something that is basically what they call an enterprise software offering. So that means that it's really available to any of the executive branch agencies in state government. The same people that manage the system that actually get payments out to vendors are the ones that oversee the Smart Simple system. If any of you have heard of the term Edison, that's the system that pays everyone. It's the same group of people that implement Smart Simple. So what they have done is, this is a need that a lot of agencies have had. There have been some agencies that have just used this on their own through their own contracts, but the state needed a grant application management system, and they have contracted with Smart Simple to provide that to all agencies and government who want to take advantage of that. So we looked at that as being the fastest, easiest way to get something out to the council. There's not an agreement that needs to be signed. There's nothing that you have to do with that regard. There's really not a cost to the council because it's a software that's already available to us. And we have IT people who are able to take this, the guide that you guys have all collaborated on and approved, and say, now we need to implement this into an electronic system that's going to allow that routing and scoring and review and data repository to occur. That's a lot easier than trying to do all of that manually, especially when you have a large council that's made up of private sector members and need to be flexible. The vendor needs about 4 months to get everything going. So once we've said this is the final specification for what we need the software to do, to it being trained and tested and ready to go is about 4 months. Which I believe is why Mary wanted to have a meeting to get you guys back together. I've been in the IT field for a long time. The state has already had to do due diligence on this because they actually bought this using a contract that other governments use. It's a national contract. So there's been quite a bit of vetting to be done to make sure that it's something that's going to meet the state's needs. It's going to handle and address all of the regulatory things that go along with managing grant funding. And a benefit to that is that when there is a change that has to be made that's at a federal level, it gets made in one place for everyone. Having been in the IT field for a while, what I would recommend, sometimes it's hard to go out and buy software when you're doing a new function. So unless you have a tool that you like and have used for this, It's hard to know what you want until you've used something. This is a pretty standard software package. It's a robust software package that's used for this in governments. My recommendation would be to try it, especially since there's no cost. And I know you guys want to get the community funding out as soon as possible. And we have IT people to support and get that implemented for you and make it work. If that's not something that you like going forward, you could certainly, change course. You could do something else. The council can do whatever they want to with regard to any of that. But if you're wanting to do something quickly, my recommendation would be to use something that we've already got in place so that we can get you moving as fast as possible without the cost and without the commitment.
Thanks, Heather. And just so the council knows, Heather was kind enough to meet with Mary and I virtually. I can't remember, Heather, if it was last week or week before last. And I really gained a lot of confidence after talking to Heather and her experience with this. And there's a couple of things I think we need to look at. One is that we're not bound to this. So if we tried initially and we have issues with it and we want to change course, then we are not bound to it. So I think that gives us, some kind of reassurance that we won't be tied into something. And then the other thing is that, and I went over this with Heather, if we wanted to accept side proposals to meet the needs that we think we have right now, we don't even have a mechanism to do that right now, unless we did it all manually. And so for me, and after my meeting with Heather and Matt, is Matt on here yet, Mary?
No, he's not. The governor had a press conference at 1:00, and I think Matt's delayed because of that.
Okay. Well, we might not be able to get to him, but and that's fine, because I think Heather really gives us what we need. I think Matt was going to talk about STS a little bit more, but I mean, Heather, you could actually talk about STS yourself with your experience with it. But for the council, after I talked with Heather and Mary and figured out what we figured out in meeting with STS as well, I was comfortable with this. For those reasons, no little to no cost, and we're not tied to it. And I think that it's going to at least meet our needs here initially getting started up, and then we can change course at any time. So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions from our council, if that's okay, Mary.
Yeah, absolutely. And Clay Jackson has joined us.
Okay, thanks, Clay. We now have 12 of our 15 here.
Hey, it's Dr. Vanderpool. Thanks, Heather, for the update. I'm glad you were able to provide that to the council. I heard briefly something about 4 months. Was that for another process, or are we saying that it would take 4 months to implement Smart Simple, which would push us into August for accepting applications? Did I mishear that?
No, you're correct. The vendor's asking for 4 months to get everything built from the time we say yes, because they haven't done it yet, because we haven't made a commitment. So they need 4 months for us to say, yes, this is what we want to do, to the time it's actually live and accepting applications.
And while folks are thinking about questions, I'm sharing a document, some information that I've pulled together from talking with a few council members, that just kind of highlights some of the attributes and the facts around Smart Simple and some of the other state departments that are using Smart Simple.
And Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, but we went over the departments that are currently using Smart Simple, and everyone who's currently using it seems to be satisfied. And unless my memory is not serving me, which is entirely possible. But also the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services are likely to join this list. Are both of those statements correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We actually in the department have not had a system that we've used for grant applications. So Matt has expressed an interest in doing this as well. And we have, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of context, because the volume can be significant. I know Matt, I think, is going to try to join us, but we have more than 1,000 grant contracts that we administer already in the Department of Mental Health, between substance abuse and mental health programming. So it can be a significant volume, and that takes a lot of time to be able to accept all those applications, score all those applications, and keep track of all the balance funding that you have still decrementing the balance and all of that. So there's a pretty significant amount of time spent on that. I've been with the state for about 16 years now, 15, 16 years. And part of that time, as Dr. Lloyd said, I actually worked in STS. I managed all of the IT for children's services, human services, mental health, DIDD, and Department of Health. So I've managed several hundred millions of dollars worth of projects. And what I would say is, this is the easiest thing to do. It's something that's already in place. There's already an IT team poised to support it for you. So I think in terms of speed, it's an easy, simple, low risk, really not if any cost, because the cost, it's like $30 an application. I don't even know that we would try to tease that out and bill it to the council, because if we end up using it for other things, it really would probably not even be worth the time to do that. So I think there's very risk in the commitment. What I would say is helpful to have a tool that you can compare to other things. If you wanted to go see if there else might like better, it's easier to do that when you have a basic experience something. That would just be.
Yeah, I got down here that somebody raised their hand. Unfortunately, I can't see that. So whoever raised their hand, have at it.
It's Wayne. Wayne.
All right, Mr. Walcott. Sorry about that.
No problem. I was reading it says this is an off-the-shelf product. Is that the way most other folks are using this?
Yeah, so basically when they say it's off the shelf product, it's a commercial product that you buy, but it's customizable. So you go in there and you set up your rules and how you want things to route and the steps that you want it to take, but the software itself is customizable, but it's something that you buy from a vendor.
So the customizable portion of it is what's going to take 4 months.
Correct. Well, between getting the specifications, kind of documenting all of that, getting all the customization done, getting the testing done, getting training done for people who need to use it, and then putting it in all 4 months. That's correct.
Other folks that are using it, are they finding that they have to do extensive customization or not?
I don't think to me, from what I've seen, I don't think there's a significant amount of customization, particularly because really this system can do a lot more than just the application tracking part. It has other features too that we're not even looking at using at this point. So from what I've seen, I don't think this is high in terms of complexity and trying to get it set up.
And Heather, that's what I heard from the other departments as well. And so Wayne and the council, some of the customizations we're looking at is like the scoring rubric, being able to weight the scores, and then also delegating the applications to the council members. So that's just a couple of the few examples that would be customizations for us.
All right.
And I think what, and I can't see Stephanie's face or Wayne's face, but I can kind of hear it in their voices. The 4 months to get it up and going seems like to me a long time. However, when I look at it, if we had to go out and find somebody to do this, I think we're looking at longer than 4 months. So it seems to me like it's an equitable way to at least get started in this. Heather, would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah, I mean, if you engage with a vendor, you're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to review their system. You're going to have to bring the specifications and do what they call a gap analysis. Say, okay, this is what you have. This is what we need. How well does that fit? You have to do all of that first and make sure it's going to work. And then if it does, you still have to go through and do the customization back and forth on that. Make sure that you test it to make sure it's going to work correctly. So got to doing that. So it'll take a little bit of time to get all that done.
And the one significant part about this is that we can basically hook this up to our BCMS system. So it's what the department uses for their grants management. And that's BCMS is then connected to Edison that would pay the grantees. So this is something that's already kind of the state has worked out. And Heather, there may be some technical words that could be used, but that's what I understand in my layman's mind.
Yeah, there may be more integration at some point with the state's payment system. I don't know how much they're going to do of that, but regardless, the way this works is you guys score the determine what you want to do, and then from there we pick up the ball, we get the system set up, and we get ready to make payments.
All right, Stephanie Vanterpool, you raised your hand.
Yes, so I do have a question about once we've gotten the applications in, if we wanted to export or analyze the data in some way, how does Smart Simple allow us to do that? For example, if we're wanting to run reports on the different types of applications that we received, the different types of projects that were being run, is this something that we can export to do analytics on, or is it something that has to be analyzed all within Smart Simple? Just so we can, have the most robust information available.
That's one of the customizations we've asked for, is to be able to run reports based on applicant and then run reports based on the score, the reviewers. Heather, I don't know if you have something else to add on that.
No, I'm not sure if there's an export feature, but I will ask about that. I know you guys have been talking about the reporting. I have not asked about the export feature, but I could get back for sure on that.
All right, Clay Jackson has his hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mary. I don't like the 4 months. I've got a lot of questions, but if we try to go with some other system, we're going to be in 2024 not having handed out any money, and the legislature is going to be on our behinds about it. And there, we can't rent a helicopter and start throwing bales of money out of helicopters. We got to have an organized system for getting this money out. So, my view is we need to vote on this, and we need to move forward. I've had as many reservations as anybody on the committee about using this system, but given what Mary has shared with me and Stephen and others, I think that this is our best opportunity to start. And as Stephen said, we don't have a mechanism for it right now. We'd have to go out and hunt something else. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we close discussion and call for a vote.
Second.
I have
Moore.
I have a motion to move forward and call for a vote, as well as a second. And I'm assuming, Clay, that motion is to move forward with Smart Simple. Is that correct?
Well, I just wanted to move to close discussion and call for a vote. So let's handle that one first. We could call for the motion to close discussion, and then if there are any opposed and further discussion needs to be had, then we can move forward. But there are a lot of questions. I think we spent a lot of time on questions today. My point is, I think we need to move on to a vote, because I don't think we're going to find better soon. So my motion is to close discussion and call for a vote.
Okay, I have a motion to close discussion and call for a vote. I have a second. Is there any further discussion about that? If not, Mary, can we proceed with a roll call vote, since I can't distinguish everyone?
Yes. Steve Lloyd,
Aye.
Armando Fontes,
Aye.
Mike Flynn,
Aye.
Clay Jackson,
Aye.
Karen Pershing,
Aye.
Tommy Farmer,
Aye.
Sharm Allen,
Aye.
Brian Buck,
Aye.
Stephanie Vanterpool,
Aye.
Casey Cox, Wayne Wyckoff,
Aye.
Tim Fournette,
Aye.
Shane Sexton,
Aye.
Lisa Tipton, Ken Moore.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. And I guess I would now entertain a motion to approve the use of Smart Simple platform and get it started using it as an initial startup.
I move that the council accept Smart Simple as our platform for grants and metrics.
I second.
I've got a motion on the floor and seconded. Is there any discussion? I think Dr. Fournette, you had your hand up a minute ago. I was on mute. I couldn't call on you. Do you want to? Oh, I want to make sure that I get to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if the tech support was a online tech support, or there was actually an individual answering the phone when you called them. That was my question, but I think we need to move forward anyway, like you said.
Sure. All right. Any other discussion? All right, Mary, can we proceed with the roll call vote?
Yes. Steve Lloyd,
Aye.
Armando Fontes,
Aye.
Mike Flynn,
Aye.
Clay Jackson,
Aye.
Karen Pershing,
Aye.
Tommy Farmer,
Aye.
Sharm Allen,
Aye.
Brian Buck,
Aye.
Stephanie Vanterpool,
Aye.
Wayne Wyckoff,
Aye.
Tim Fournette,
Aye.
Shane Sexton,
Aye.
Lisa Tipton, Ken Moore.
Yes.
And, the ayes have it and the motion carries. And the council will proceed with full, and Mario, we will proceed however we need to. You and I can talk offline about that. Is there any other business that the council needs to address during this meeting? I don't think there is, but I want to make sure.
Prayers for your dad.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dr. Ward. I'm still I've been stated and almost didn't recognize Stephanie there. I can see her now, but if all goes well, we have our follow-up appointment this coming Friday, and I have cautiously purchased plane tickets home for Saturday. So I hope to be back in my home. But I appreciate everything, and it's been an honor being able to take care of my dad. So thank you, guys. If we don't have any new business, then my favorite part of any meeting, which is adjournment. So we will stand adjourned.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, Dr. Lloyd. Public comment.
I'm sorry.
Public comment. Forgot about that.
Oh, I'll take back my adjournment. Is there any public I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got fired up. Is there any public comment? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I'll give you a 5 Mississippi count. Okay, there's no public comment. So unless there's any objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you guys for everything.